Hello, fifth graders. Today we're going to go over how to multiply decimals, how to convert fractions, how to convert between measurements, and how to round. So for the first section, multiplying decimals, we're just going to find the product of number 2 and number 4 together. So number 2, it says 7.23 times 1,000. So to start this off, I'm just going to, on the side, write it vertically on top of each other and just multiply them normally. So 1,000 times 7.23. So now I'm just going to multiply them. So 3 times 0 is 0, just 0, since when you multiply it. And then 3 times 1 is 3. Then another round of zeros, and then 2 times 1, which is 2. And then we have zeros again, and then 7 times 1, which is 7. So I'm just multiplying them normally like how we usually do, ignoring the decimal point you see over there. So you would end up with 0, 0, 0, 3, 2, 7. Okay, so you'll end up with 7, 2, 3, 0, 0, 0. 3 zeros at the end. Now we have to determine where to put the decimal place because we are multiplying with decimals. So for the first one, we see that the decimal point, there is no decimal point. So I'm just going to write 0 over here since there are no decimal points. For the second number, 7.23, there is a decimal point, and we see that it is moved 2 times to the left. So I'm going to write 2 over here to represent that. And then now I'm going to add these two numbers, 2 plus 0, which is 2. And then this number is going to play a role in your final answer. So now we have 2. So I'm going to take the decimal point here, and I'm going to move it to the left twice. 1 and 2. So your decimal point should be here, and your final answer should be 7,230. That might have been confusing, so I'm going to go over number 4 as well. So on the right side over here, I'm going to do the same, 71.9 times 100. Now I'm going to just multiply it like this. Basically what I did to the other one as well, to number 2 as well. So 0, 0, 0, because whatever you multiply by 0 will always be 0. Same for the second 0. And now 1, it will always be the same. So like this. And I'm just going to multiply them normally, ignoring the decimal point. Okay, now we're going to consider the decimal point. So for the first number over here, 71.9. So we see that the decimal point was moved 1 to the left. So I'm going to write 1 over here. 100 has no decimal point, so I'm going to write 0 over here. And I'm going to add these two. 1 plus 0 is 1. And this, we're going to add onto the final number by moving the decimal point 1 to the left, like this. So your final answer should be 7,190. So your answer should go over here. So for the second section we're going to go over is how to convert fractions. So when it says converting, it means we're going to be converting from mixed fractions from improper fractions to mixed fractions. So all of these questions right now is a mixed fraction, which means there's a greater number on the top over a smaller number. So that's not what we want. We want a mixed fraction where we have a small number on the top. We want a small number on the top over the big number on top. Sometimes this could involve us having whole numbers on the side over here. You'll see what I mean when we go over these problems. So let's go over number 2, 57 over 5. So as of now, 57 over 5, we have the bigger number on the top and we have the smaller number on the bottom. So that's not what we want, of course. We want a small number on the top. So in order to do that, we're going to divide these two numbers. 57 divided by 5. Now, so this dividing process is just dividing. So 5 goes into 57 once. 5 goes into 5 once, and we'll end up with 0. And then we're going to bring the 7 down here, and we know that 5 goes into 7 one times. So we did 7 minus 5, which is 2. And we know that we have a remainder of 2 now. So the way we're going to do this is that, let me rewrite over here. This is going to be our whole number. Our final answer, this part on top of the quotient thing will be our whole number over here. This will be our small numerator. This will be our denominator. So this is how we convert into mixed fractions. We have to divide them like this, and with the remainders, we're going to convert it into a mixed fraction. So your final answer for number 2 should be 11 to 5th. So that's how you convert it. The third section we're going to go over is measurements. We're going to convert the given measures to new units. So I like how they gave us conversions already on top over here that we're going to be using. So we're just going to go over number 1 over here. It says 7 miles equals X yards. So MI stands for miles, and YD stands for yards, and then FT stands for feet. So now we know that we have 7 miles. I'm just going to rewrite over here equals X yards. I'm going to rewrite it with the X value, the unknown value that we're searching for. So looking at these conversions, which 2 conversions do we need to be able to convert from miles to yards? Well, that's an easy answer. So your answer should be these 2 conversions is what we need, because we're converting from miles and yards. So we'll need these 2 conversions. So the way I like to do conversions is I like to make proportions. So, you know, like how we have miles on the left side over here? Well, I'm going to match the mile sign over here as well. So they're one on top of another. And we know that there's 1,760 yards. So I'm going to put this below the yards. So now from here, I'm going to make proportions. So when I make proportions, I'm going to divide the 2. So 7 over 1 equals X over 1,760. That's where proportions are. And after you set up the proportions, we're going to cross multiply, which means we're just going to cross it like this, making an X sign across. So now we have 7 times 1,760 equals X. So now we just have to multiply these 2 to find the unknown. So I'm just going to multiply it on the side over here. 1,760 times 7. So 0, 76, 42. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus 4, which should be 53. And then 7 times 1 plus 5, which is 12. So we should have X equals 12,320. So that should go over here. Now for the last section we're going to go over is how to round, and we're going to round to the underlined digit. So we are going to just go over number 2 over here. It says 183. I'm going to write it big over here. 183,335. And we know that the underlined digit is 8. This over here. So we have our underlined digit over here. So in order to determine if we're going to round up or stay the same, we're going to look at the number on the right of the underlying value, which is 3. So if this number is less than 5, that means we're going to keep the 8. But if it's greater than or equal to 5, that means we're going to round up, which means it'll be 9. The 8 will turn into 9. But over here we see that 3 is less than 5. So 3 is less than 5. So we're going to keep this the same. So as of now, it looks like this, 1, 8. We're going to keep it the same. And the rest of the digits after the underlying value, they're all going to turn into zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So our final answer should be 180,000. So this is how you round to the underlying digit of 8. And that's it for today.